let's break the mold. Chasing the stories yet untold. Passion ignites like a blazing fire. Knowledge takes us higher, higher. Out of the box where the wild ones play. We see the game in a whole new way. Living loud, hearts in motion. Sports with soul, pure devotion. The field's alive with endless dreams. We're more than stats, we're the in-between. A slam dunk thought.
Hey, what's up, everybody? Welcome to another episode of the Sully Squad. Really pumped, really excited to do this show tonight because, I love talking. I feel like we're a lot of our show is football, obviously, and it's been. And that's great, and I love football, and shit, I'm even rocking the Eagles jersey. I probably should have put a Phillies jaw on, but anyway, it's football, there's free agency, and we could always talk Eagles, but, this week in particular is very exciting because, it's kind of like the week where hope always springs eternal, you got the opening of the Major League Baseball season. You got Yankees Giants, I think, opening on Netflix on Wednesday night. And then, of course, the Phillies open on Thursday against Texas, home opener. So, it's a great time of year. You got baseball season opening, and then, of course, you had the NCAA tournament all weekend long. How about University of Florida got knocked out last night? So I saw a couple great games. I haven't really been that dialed in, but I did see the end of that St. John's game was tremendous. And then Iowa hitting a 3 with like 3 seconds left to beat Florida. So the tournament's been exciting, and it's just a great time of year. And, of course, and then even our winter teams, Sixers and Flyers playing great hockey. They won every game on the road trip out west, so they have a puncher's chance. I think they're about 5 points out of the playoff spot.
They're 3 or 4 points out with 13 games. Jonesy was on WIP this morning.
Yeah, I did. I heard some of that. Yeah, I heard some of that. And then
but the big thing is, like he said, they're going for each game. He didn't even know how many games were left. They had to look it up, and he said they do look forward to each game by game. But he said it's going to be some changes. But the big key, he said, we moved forward, and we're getting somewhere. And he said, we have a lot of money to spend next year, and we're going through the league. So he says, let's see what Danny can bring to us, because we're going to just go up from here. So hopefully that's true. He sounded very serious, and let's hope that what he's saying is true, because in a way it has been exciting. You've got teams, you got Florida, who won the Stanley Cup last year, who was in the Stanley Cup and won it the year before. They're not going to make the playoffs. They're below the Flyers.
Yeah, that's hockey, And then you got the Sixers. The Sixers playing good basketball. No Maxey, no George, no Embiid, and VJ Edgecombe and Grimes. Tell you, Grimes is like Mr. March, man. That dude. Whenever March comes, he should be in the tournament. He's fucking Mr. March, Grimes. So last year he did the same shit. So we got a lot to get into. But I think. How about since the Phillies are just starting, I guess we'll and one more thing and then how about the Eagles? One Eagles thing I thought was interesting over the weekend. Howie Roseman completely guaranteed Jake Elliott's contract, but by the same token, it was I read a report where there was a kicker from like University Tennessee or something he ran like a 4.7 and kicked like a 70-yard field goal, and the Eagles were one of the teams scouting him out. So. Who knows? Maybe they will bring in some comp for Jake,
Yeah, that'd be nice.
Yeah, but anyway, how about we get into a little Phillies here? So we got Phillies starting. I guess what's your guys like Sean, I'll start with you. Like what's your outlook on this season? A lot of people were kind of critical of the offseason because all they really did was mostly run it back, but they re-up Luzardo, and then yesterday they give Sanchez a nice little rewarding contract, which I thought was a good move. What's your outlook going into the season?
Well, I can't wait for Taiwan Walker. He's our new fourth pitcher, man. That's awesome, right, guys? Can't wait for that. You know. No, I think it's all good. You know, I mean, like I said, I think the outfield we all said is kind of questionable, but they should beat Texas. You know, and it all comes down to Schwarber, Harper, and hopefully Bohm could hit some bombs. You know, but I mean, I don't know what to. You know, it's so early. Give me a good month, and then I'll get back to you. But I'm just hoping they're not one and done in the playoffs like they've been in the past. You know what I mean? So we shall see. What's
I
everybody
thought
else's thought?
didn't Rob Thompson say it was Sanchez, Nola,
No,
Wheeler,
Luzardo.
Luzardo, Painter to 5, or
Yeah.
did he say Taiwan was in there until Wheeler gets back?
So Taiwan's in there. Wheeler's not back officially yet.
No.
I mean, Wheeler might not be back for like a month and a half.
He-
So
All right.
He
So
was
really,
just-
it's just Taiwan until Wheeler comes back, though, right?
Well, supposedly.
right.
Yeah.
If
Or
Taiwan,
if Taiwan's pitching better than Painter, maybe Painter goes to the bullpen.
Mm,
I'm not as down. I mean, don't get me wrong. I don't love the idea of Taiwan, but Taiwan wasn't. I mean, I know a couple years ago he was trash, but I didn't think Taiwan was that like if he's your number 5, like if you're rolling like until Wheeler comes back, if you're rolling Sanchez, he's definitely a number 1. Nola, he was terrible last year, but here's a little bit of hope that maybe he found something in the WBC. Maybe he could at least be back to where he gives up bombs, but they're just solar ones, right? Then you got Luzardo, and then you got Painter. I mean, if Walker's like your 4/5, I mean, there's a lot of teams that have it worse than that, though. You know what I mean?
Right,
Like,
I don't
not
think
to
it's that
be great, but
he's playing for his life now. This is his end. The contract's up. So he's playing to go somewhere. This is the end of the career. So if he wants to make some kind of money, this is it. So you maybe put a little bit of extra oomph in it before you're kind of coasting because you got a contract.
yeah.
I'm trying to look at it this way. I know we kind of rolled it back a lot. We didn't do a ton of moves and all this shit. I'm just thinking, all right, you know what? I'm going to forget about those other years and just pretend this is my team. Because I think, you know what? The Dodgers, they just buy everybody. And the Mets, they pretty much buy everybody, but they all suck together and play together. And they always so, you know what?
yeah, they screw it up.
Yeah. You got a couple teams over in the American League who've done it right. But there are teams that haven't done jack shit. And they're rolling no-name players and this and that out there. At least we did something. I mean, Dombrowski didn't do a ton, but at least we brought something in here. So I'm just saying, all right, let this be the new year because this is it. This is it with this little mini core that's left. If they don't do something, Bones going, Stott's going, Turner, Harper, and Schwarber will probably be the only 3 left.
Yeah, well, I mean, you do have Crawford. You got the kid Miller,
Yeah.
although he's got back issues. But I'll tell you the one thing that's encouraging, though. I mean, yeah, the lineup. They're going to make moves in the lineup, but if you look for the next couple years, the pitching is locked up, and that's starters and bullpen. I mean, Sanchez is locked up through 2023. I think Luzardo's locked up through 2022, 2023. You got Nola locked up. Painter, you control him for 4 or 5 years, and then you have Wheeler. He's signed for 2 more years. So I mean, you got 4/5 of your starting rotation. If they pitch well, they're locked up for like the next 4 years, like at minimum. So, we can say the lineup, these guys are getting older. Like, of course, JT's getting older, Schwarber's getting older, Harper, all these guys. But like the pitching and like the bullpen too. I think Duran signed for 2 more years. I think that they added a few other guys that are signed. So and one other thing too. The other day, I mean, it was only like a breakout spring training game, but that kid, the first round pick from last year, Gabe Wood, he looked tremendous, and people are saying he's a fast riser. Like because he was a college pitcher, he could be up as soon as the end of this year or next year. He could be a setup man.
Plus that Dory guy or whatever too. The one in the WBC.
Yeah, that's another guy. Yeah, Dante Nori killed it in the WBC.
Yeah, for
He
Italy.
did.
I was gonna say that. Phillies seem like they can get young and keep the with these older contracts that they have locked up and be good for a couple years.
Yeah, got a couple comments. K Bus 4 says Walker was great in the long man run, and that's probably what he would be. Mike Papper Jr. says Otto Kemp, Otto Kemp being the fourth outfielder over Rincones Jr., who was an outfielder, not a converted one. Yeah, but Kemp hit the ball well in spring training.
Yeah, he can
I
hit.
like that. I like that.
And plus Kemp's right-handed. I think Rincones is left-handed. I believe. I could be wrong,
yeah.
but so he's not an option.
And Weston Wilson did nothing for us last year, and I don't know why we kept him around. I think Kemp should have been in that spot, or we should have kept what's his face, Cody Clemens.
Yeah,
I think they like Weston Wilson's like utility.
Well, he's gone now anyway, which is
He's gone.
He's with Baltimore.
Okay,
Yeah.
good. Good, 'cause he sucks.
Mike Papernick Jr. says Wheeler has said recently that he considered not retiring after 2027. That's true. Mike Fuji. Let's get into Mike Fuji said, what's good, guys? Just tuning in. How many wins for the Phillies? Yeah, let's go around the horn here. You know what? I say they win about 96. I say first place 96 is where I'm going.
I say 103.
Holy shit! Really?
Phillies are gonna have a good year. The pitch is gonna be great. As long as everyone stays healthy, they'll win games just because of pitching. I feel like the concern for the Phillies isn't for them to have a good season. You know, can they beat the Dodgers? You know what I mean?
Yeah. Well, to touch on K Bus, can't forget Adolis Garcia. So
Yeah, I think that's a great pickup.
Well, yeah, you must think that he's going to do something then.
Yeah.
That's the case. How about you, Sean? How many wins?
With you, 96.
96. Okay.
Yeah.
I mean, you guys aren't far off of me. 7 games.
Well,
Baseball was 162.
yeah. I mean, you know what? Hey,
Right in the middle. We're right in the middle. We're all at 100-win season. We all think the Phillies can win 100 games.
Hey, I hope you're right, Diego, because I would take 103.
Yeah, that sounds about right, you know.
At K Bus 4 says at least 25 bombs for Garcia playing in the bank. Let's hope. Let's hope, because they need it. That's one thing this team. That's one thing that this team really needed. I mean, you got the Schwarbaum, right? But then other than Schwarbaum, you know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
You need some power.
Dude, Garcia threw a dude out the other day from the outfield. It's a great play.
I saw that. Yeah, he's got a fucking cannon.
Yeah, he's got a cannon.
Yeah.
Yeah, Jeff, how many wins do you think the Phillies have? Sean and I went with 96. Diego actually says 103. Where are you at?
97.
Okay. All right. Well, hey. Well then if it meet like Diego said, if it meets in the middle, they're around 100.
Yeah, around 100. First place. And they went to the Dodgers. What are you gonna do?
I'm just nervous about their offense, just not getting their offense together. My big thing would be if they don't start off. I mean, everybody starts off whatever. They don't. Let's say in May or so, they don't start hitting the ball and scoring runs and the same little shit as next year or last year. Excuse me. You either fire Kevin Long or you say goodbye to Thompson. You put Don Mattingly in this spot. Don Mattingly will get up in your face.
I think that's the whole reason behind that. You know, Thompson falters like a deck of cards. It's Mattingly. So,
yeah, I mean,
that's why he's
Nicky Button's literally undressed Thompson, and he's been doing it ever since he's been gone. He can't stand him, and his layoff attitude off everybody and this and that, and although to me Castellanos I'm a whining bitch, but you can kind of see Thompson has I just hope I can see Mattingly running on the field and going at the umpire and doing that shit. You need that sometimes to get your players behind you. Just like sending out the old fighter in hockey. Go out and beat somebody up. All of a sudden it fires your team up.
Yeah. I just feel like the Phillies were a bunch of veterans. You know what I mean? I don't feel like if we're depending on like the manager to have to make these guys win in baseball, I think that's a stretch with these players. You got Bryce Harper, Turner, but they play baseball. You know what to do. They've been there for a while. So, like, can we put it on Robbie? Yeah. But at the end of the day, Mattingly's not going to make Bryce Harper hit at the end of the game in clutch positions. He's not going to help the offense from going over fucking 30 in big spots in a playoff series. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
I mean,
So, ultimately, I mean, if you think about it, every sport comes down to the player. How good the player is.
Is he a better decision maker? Because I feel like some decisions that Rob Thompson made when it came down to the bullpen is where he hurt us, but sometimes it panned out for him. Oh, yeah, like in the years past, sometimes he went to some pitchers and we're like, what the fuck is he doing? And it worked. You know what I mean? It just so happened that it works to a certain point and the players kind of just choke.
Yeah,
it's basically his decision making. I think we all can agree.
I hope, like you're saying, decision making. I hope Mattingly is kind of in the ears of Thompson, like he's that little kazoo from the Flintstones on the shoulder of Thompson, saying, I've seen this before. Do this, that kind of thing. Because I think his way of doing it's kind of gotten a little old. It worked.
I'm at a point with the Phillies, like they've been right there for so long. Mm-hmm. If they don't win, it's Harper's fault. It's Turner's fault. It's the players' fucking fault.
It's a team's fault. It's not just one player's fault.
Like I just put Alec Bohm let us down when the playoffs came. Schwarber, it's those guys' fault because Schwarber's gonna hit like 50 something home runs. Then you're gonna shit the bed in the playoffs. You're gonna have horrible series. You're not gonna, just feel like in baseball it should be more on the players, not like in basketball. Like I watch Nick Nurse run a horrible offense some nights, or be like, "What's this starting five? Or what are these plays he's running?" It's not like that in baseball. The guy goes up, hits the ball, like it's on them.
Or like in football, like look at the difference the new coach made and the new Carolina coach made, the new Jacksonville coach made.
Yeah, exactly.
You know what I'm saying? Like Carolina was dog shit last year. They bring in a new coach, and it seemed to make some improvement. Jacksonville, the guy that coached at Jacksonville. I mean, all of a sudden, Trevor Lawrence. I mean, he was up and down. He had like his best year last year.
Yeah, he did.
Cohen brought him back.
Look at Seattle. Seattle new coach.
Nobody else wanted to call. Nobody else called out Topper, and as soon as Castellanos did, he got suspended.
Yeah, the only thing. Oh, here's Mike Papergy says, I don't trust Robbie making. I like. Oh, wait, here's one more. Mike Papernick says Mattingly is going to use cue cards to tell Robbie what move or moves like Chip Kelly had.
Cheesesteak sign, all of chips.
See, I definitely get. I have my issues with Rob Thompson too. Like I definitely, he even some of his moves that he makes that work out. I look and I'm like, why are you doing that? But sometimes the players bail him out. But so I'm kind of with Mike as far as like I'm not the biggest fan, but by the same token, like I'm expecting this team to win like 96 games, 97 games, and like so I can't go into the season like hoping the manager's going to be fired because I mean why would I do that? You know what I'm saying? Right. Like I'm going into the season hoping that the team's going to be in first place, and then hoping, like you said, Diego, that the players get hot in the playoffs because I agree with you, Diego, in the fact that it really in baseball it's mostly about the players. The manager can fuck up and pull a pitcher too early or maybe not set a lineup right. I mean, there's certain things a manager could do to fuck up, but the bottom line is it's usually about the players 90% in baseball. It's not like the other sports like basketball, you got a dickhead. Like for instance, you said Nick Nurse. How many fucking times how many games have we watched this year where the opposing team goes on like an 18-point run in the third quarter and he never calls a timeout.
Yeah.
He never call like back in the day.
Or like not being able to find minutes from McCain. You know what I mean?
Exactly.
There's 5 positions. Like it should be pretty fucking easy to find some time for one guy, but there's 5 fucking guys on the court for your team at a time.
Well, how about how about years ago when the Sixers had Larry Brown and the Sixers, there would be times the Sixers would have a chance, would really struggle to get a bucket. Like say Iverson was having an off game or maybe they were, maybe they had like 2 to 3 dudes like running at him. He couldn't do shit. Larry Brown, when the other team made a run, would always design a play to get to the foul line and he would stem the tide of the run. And that's what the difference that coaching can make in some of these other sports where, dude, in baseball, like once the batter's in the batter's box, there ain't shit the fucking manager can do. You're in there, you either get the fucking hit or you don't.
Right,
you know what I mean?
Yeah, I can't help you there.
You know what the problem is with I think all of us, I think we're all guilty of it. We're used to winning. Philadelphia's used to winning. We've really gotten used to it now. You have some cities that, look at Florida or look at even Atlanta. They show them on TV and it's embarrassing where they have like no fans in the stands there. We go out even if they're on a 10-game losing streak. So we're just used to winning, and that's why we bitch and complain all the time. Think about it. That's why I bitch and complain. I expect it because I'm so used to winning.
Well, I mean, yeah, but we haven't won a World Series since 2008. I understand. I mean, I agree with you, Jeff. We've had some competitive teams, but I mean, I think a lot of it is the fact that we are so, like you mentioned Miami, there's so much shit to do in Miami. You know what I'm saying? Yeah, if the Marlins are good, they're like, oh, cute story. But the bottom line is they got the beach to go to. They got so much shit. Like here, sports is just such a part of our fabric. You know what I mean? So our teams are so important to us. Where some of these other cities, it's like, if they're good, they're good. We'll go. And if they're not, fuck it. We have other shit to do, But all right, so we did the Phillies. All right, so me and Sean have 96 wins. Jeff had 97. Diego's got 103. So are the Phillies winning the division? Because you got the Mets and the Braves. Braves already have some injury issues. I think Strider's out.
Mm-hmm.
What's his name? Schellenbach. He's got some injuries. You got that one douchebag that got suspended. Was it Profar already got suspended?
He's done. He's done
for the season. Cannot come back.
Yeah, what an asshole that guy is. Christ, man. If
I didn't know I was taking it.
We don't have to worry about Rojas for 82 games either, so that's a good thing.
Yeah, so let's go around the horn. All right, so does everybody think they're going to win the division?
Yeah.
Okay.
But I think it's going to be tougher than we think it is. I think the Mets might get some stuff together. It just depends. It depends on the locker room. Soto didn't start off very good last year, and shit started happening, and then they started going down with injuries too. But they just didn't get their shit together. I always think back again to the New York Yankees.
I think the Mets are worse than what they were last year. I feel like Pete Alonso was important for them.
Yeah, you have certain players
big things in Baltimore.
Yeah.
What's that?
What'd you say, Sean?
He's going to do big things in Baltimore.
Yeah.
Yeah, I'll tell you what. You want to talk about a division? That AL East is a fucking minefield. I mean, you got Toronto. Toronto's in the World. Toronto's what, 2 outs from the World Series last year. You got the Yankees. The Yankees won just as many games as Toronto, and now you got Garrett Cole coming back. You know what I'm saying? And you got the Reds. The Red Sox got some good young players. They got a nice team. Tampa kind of fell off, but they seem to always find a way to get some guys. And then Baltimore doesn't really have the pitching, but the fucking Baltimore's lineup is
their lineup's nasty.
Their lineup is sick. I mean, you got Gunnar Henderson. You go out and get Alonso. They got
Watchman.
Who?
The catcher.
Yeah, they got Baltimore's got a bunch of hitters, man. I mean, you talk about K Bus 4 says Rays are sneaky as hell. Yeah, exactly. And the funny thing is, odds are they might be in last place in that division. Well, them are Baltimore, and Baltimore with that kick-ass lineup,
Yeah.
So, all right. So we have the Phillies winning the East. How about the Central? Let's just do a quick baseball preview, and then maybe we'll put our balls on the table and do a World Series preview too. I mean, it's starting, so we gotta put it out here. So, who's winning the NL Central?
Brewers.
Brewers, okay. How about Sean? How about you?
Brewers.
Brewers, okay. Diego, what you?
I'm going to go with the pack. Take the Brewers.
Okay,
I'm the Packers for a second there. So anyway,
yeah, I'm going Cubs actually. The Brewers lost a little pitching, so I'm going Cubs. And I think you know who I think is going to surprise some people is the Reds. I think the Reds are getting in as a wild card, possibly.
they had some good signings. They could be right up there. The wild card, I can see them in the wild card.
They had some pitching.
Yeah.
Yeah. So then you got they signed Eugenio. What is it? Eugenio Suarez.
Suarez.
Yeah, I kind of wanted the Phillies to bring him in. I know, you know what I mean? I would have liked to have had him. He could have hit 35 bombs here.
Yep.
He went back to where it all started. That's his first team.
All right, then we got the NL West. Now the West is really tough because obviously you got the Dodgers, obviously, right? But the Padres are no slouch. You know, Arizona came on towards the end of the year, and then you got the Giants. The Giants could surprise some people, but is anybody but the Dodgers winning the West?
Nah, Dodgers win the West. Padres get a wild card.
I think that the Dodgers are going to win the West. Same thing. I think they're going to kind of cruise through and not be in first place for a little while, kind of like they were last year, and then all of a sudden turn it on and just wipe everybody out there like they did before. But I don't know about the Padres. I'm not a Padre fan anymore. I used to, but Tatis and those guys, Machado and them, I don't know. They just don't. I don't know. They don't do it for me anymore.
Okay. All right. Well,
How many wild card spots again?
There's three. There's three. So
Three.
I think
That's what I thought.
Yeah. So
Padres, Mets, Reds are the three wild cards.
That's exactly
Well,
what
I can see Arizona sneaking in there instead of the Padres.
Yeah, that's exactly what I think. I think Reds. I think Reds, Mets, Padres, and then if I had to pick a fourth that might sneak up on some people, it would be it'd be the Brewers probably, like find a way to sneak in.
Mine would be flip flop with yours. I would think the Cubs would be
right.
I think they took a big step back with losing Tucker.
I mean, I think the Braves, if they can get some of their players healthy, Ronald Acuna leading that team, they could possibly slip in there instead of like the Mets or like the Reds.
Yeah. No, I hear you. All right. So that's now who's coming out of the NL?
The Dodgers.
Dodgers again. Okay, so third year in a row.
Yeah.
I don't know.
They're going to win it again.
The only reason I said, obviously they have everybody, and they're probably going to buy more at the All-Star, at the trade deadline. But I also think of going, again, to me personally, going years back, who used to dominate baseball for a long time in the NL? The Braves. How many times did they make it to the World Series? A whole bunch, but how many did they win? One.
Yeah, I still think this Dodgers team is better than that Braves team.
I don't know. You know what though?
The Dodger team is like the best team ever assembled.
I don't. You know
like
what?
The best team I've ever saw. Like last year when Phillies were playing them and they were going, like the batters would come up. Their seventh or eighth hitter had like 40-something home runs.
Yeah, but you know what's amazing?
Whatever his name was.
Yeah, but you know what's amazing though? The Phillies. I mean, I know we lost the Phillies shut them the fuck down. They didn't do shit against the Phillies, really.
Yeah, and that's why I feel like they're the ones that get in because the Phillies had the best pitching and they didn't take them down. And I feel like it's similar. You know what I mean? We still got the best pitching. So who's the only team that can beat the Dodgers? The Phillies, but I don't think the Phillies are going to win the World Series because they let us down so much. So it just like ends up being the Dodgers.
Yeah. See, I think I'm actually. I mean, I know I'm going to sound like a homer but I honestly really do believe this seriously because I just have a feeling that so many. It's like there's so many people that are kind of out on the Phillies in a way because it's like, they're running it back. You know, I'll tell you, as good as the Dodgers are, and they are great, they've played a lot of fucking baseball the last couple years.
Only one team can beat them. I feel like it is the Phillies.
Yeah, I think I see the Phillies coming out of the NL, and and your point about the Braves, one thing, tell you, Diego, the Dodgers are a great team, but dude, when the Braves had
Maddox, Glavin, all them dudes.
Maddox, Glavin,
Zipper Jones,
and then
fucking
the
Andrew Jones.
yeah. I mean that Ron Gant back in the day, Jay
Yeah,
Justice.
that's a team I remember from the Braves. They were awesome, but like if you take that team's stats, like next to the Dodgers, they might have like a better batting average, but everything else the Dodger has more homers, more RBIs, more hit. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Maddox and Glavin, they were fucking unbelievable. And Smoltz closing the games out, he was unreal too. So like, I'm not saying that wouldn't be a good matchup head to head. I'm just talking about star power. I just feel like, how do you match up with the Dodgers? How does any team ever match up with the Dodgers?
Well, Ohtani might be one of the best players ever.
Right, Ohtani might be one of the best players ever, and then every other guy's in like one of the best player at their position, if not top 3.
Yeah, Sean, what are you thinking, bro? Who's coming out of the NL?
Hold on, and they added Kyle Tucker.
Yes.
Yeah.
Sorry, my internet.
Come on,
internet keeps going down.
I don't think. You know what though? I got to be honest with you. Kyle Tucker. I'm sorry, Kyle Tucker's a nice player, but I'm not that fucking. I was only pissed off that he went to the Dodgers, but truthfully, I don't think
he's not great. But
Kyle Tucker is like first off, I mean, I know the Dodgers can afford to do it. Kyle Tucker is fucking massively overpaid.
Yeah, for sure.
You know what I'm saying? He ain't that fucking good. He didn't even do. What did he hit? Like 20-some homers last year for the Cubs, and they're paying this jerk off like $50 million a year. He ain't that great. You know what I'm saying?
But you add it. You just add, it's like if you add him to like a normal team, you're like, hey, that great of an addition. But you add him to the Dodgers.
Yeah. One thing though, the one thing I'll say, I hate I really hate the Dodgers. I hate the Dodgers. I hate the Dodgers almost as much as I hate the fucking Mets. But I just want to like just in the effort of just to be fair. Like I think sometimes we're a little unfair when we say they buy everybody because yeah, they do spend the most money, and I don't argue that. The Dodgers also have a great fucking farm system and shit. You know what I'm saying? Like, so I don't want to like sit there and act like the Dodgers, don't develop players and you know what I'm saying? Because they I'm all for shitting on them because I fucking hate them. But like the bottom line is like they do have a great farm system. It's not like they buy everybody. And to keep it real with you guys, I mean, opposing fans could say the Phillies buy everybody. I mean, you look at the Phillies lineup. We bought Harper, we bought Schwarber, we bought Turner. I mean, we bought a lot of our guys. We bought Mueller, you know what I'm saying?
Yeah, just paid Sanchez all that money.
Right. I mean,
Phillies do spend money.
Well, Sanchez was a great find because they found Sanchez like I forget who they traded, but Sanchez is a great story. Like he really developed. You know what I mean?
Yeah, he developed.
Mets
suck. Yes, Mets suck.
Here's our boy Keno. Joaquin Stabley says Mets suck. Totally agree with you, bro. All right, so let's do the AL. All right, so AL East, the gauntlet fucking division. Toronto's good. Yankees are good. Boston's good. Baltimore could bash, and the Rays are always a pain in the ass. So who's winning?
Yankees winning the division this year.
Yeah, I'm with you. How about you, Sean?
Yankees.
All right. Jeff, can you hear us? All right, we'll get back to Jeff. Any wild cards coming out of the East? I say Toronto. I say Toronto and Boston both.
I was gonna say the East gets 2, whether it's Baltimore or Boston. I don't know, but it's Toronto and one of them teams.
Boston and Toronto.
All right, Jeff. Who did you have winning the AL East?
Jeff, can you hear us? You can't hear us though.
He's thinking.
Remember Rush Hour when Jackie Chan was like, "Do you understand what's the word?"
Yeah. Do you understand the words that are coming out of my mouth? Man, ain't nobody understand the words that are coming out of your mouth, Chris. Chris Tucker's funny as shit.
I know. I'll tell you what though. Jackie Chan was beating motherfuckers' ass up in that John though.
Yeah.
Hang on, let's see. All right, let's hear you now. Can you hear us now?
Yeah, the internet, like I said, the internet Comcast is going in and out. I just looked on my phone. and there's allergies in the area. All of a sudden, the wind picked up here. It feels like winter again.
Yeah, somebody bitched to Al Gore. Fucking douchebag. Didn't he come up? Didn't everybody say Al Gore created the internet?
You did what?
No,
I said, wasn't that like the running joke or the meme that everybody goes, Al Gore created the internet?
he was on global warming.
Yeah, so I'm like, call that jerk off. And Tennessee sucks too, by the way. No, I'm just playing. So, all right. So, who do you have coming out of the East, Jeff? AL. Did we lose him again?
I'll tell you who I see in the whole thing. I'll get it in because I don't know what the internet's going to do. I say I want to give us a list. I want to go Phillies / Dodgers, one of those two against Toronto. I think Toronto makes it again.
Okay.
My World Series.
All right. Here's my man Ken Fry. Ken Fry says he likes the Phillies to win the East. Mets wild card, anybody but the Braves. F those guys. And Ken Fry says Ken Fry will be live Wednesday talking Mets as the Batcave returns. Yeah, check him out. I know we all hate the Mets, but Ken's a good guy, and sometimes it's interesting to watch other teams' perspectives because I follow them. I mean, we know the Mets and all that shit, but like he knows
we don't know the Mets. Yeah.
He follows them, and then Ken's really cool too because like a few years back we did an old school on the '80s Mets, and I had a lot of fun. It's funny because I'm saying this as a Phillies fan who hates the fucking Mets, but I'll tell you, I love doing that show with him because it was really interesting. And the '80s Mets, you could say what you want, but they were a really interesting team. I mean, they basically beat everybody's ass. They were like the Wolf of Wall Street. They beat everybody's ass. They snorted drugs. Yeah, they snorted lines of coke and the fucking airplanes and were like, and had all kinds of crazy stuff. They probably did all the shit that fucking Leo and them did.
Imagine how good them guys were, right? They would go out party all night, wake up probably feeling like shit, and then just go win baseball games. Do it all over again every night.
That's what the '93 Phillies did. Crux said it many times. Him, Dalton, Incaviglia, all those guys. They used to go out and party all night, and then we come back and we get like an hour sleep and come in ready to play a game. But
imagine how much better these players would have been if they took it serious. Actually,
and they didn't care and they loved it. They were having fun.
They were just having fun.
Yeah, and don't forget, Keith Hernandez had the famous spitting incident on Seinfeld.
Yeah.
That was a great Seinfeld, the great spitting incident. So
Lenny Dykstra, when Ken just said that, I think of this. I loved him. This scrawny little guy, quick as anything. I hated him when he was on the Mets. Loved when he was on the Phillies. And then he comes back the next year, kind of like Bonds, where his whole body is bloated. His arms are so fat he can't even swing the bat anymore from all the muscle he put on. No, I'm not doing steroids.
Yeah, I'll tell you, Lenny Dykstra is one of those guys where he's loved by two. Like he was loved by both fan bases and clutch for both teams too. Because Dykstra was unbelievably clutch for us. But like he was clutch for the Mets. He hit the big home run in Game 3 against the Astros in the '86 NLCS. He had big hits in the World Series. I think the Mets lost like the first two at home against Boston. Dykstra had some big games up in Boston.
What other Met did we have? What other Met did we have who was clutch for both teams and was beloved?
Wait, what's this?
What other Met did the Phillies have that was beloved in both cities?
Oh, Tug McGraw.
Tug.
Yep. Yeah, the Tugger. Yeah. And we had another guy. Well, this guy wasn't beloved in both cities, but Roger McDowell was a Met. And, another guy that played for both teams that was pretty good, Todd Pratt. Todd Pratt was our backup catcher in '93. And then Pratt played a pretty big role in the Mets in 2000. He had some big hits for them in the playoffs, like pinch hits and shit.
LT would be on coke and do more coke.
Oh, yeah. That's true. Hey, that was the 80s back then, man. Mike Papper Jr. says if the Phillies signed Alonso, that would have reignited the rivalry. Yeah, definitely.
Yeah.
Yeah. Ken Fry says Roger McDowell was the spitter that from the
From
Great.
River Road.
That's right. Yeah, I just remember. Maybe I got it mixed up. Yeah, it was McDowell, but I think Hernandez was in it too. But Dave Yarnell says, "Hey fellas, sorry so late. How's everybody doing? Everybody, we're great, Dave. Baseball's here. So, all right, let's do AL Central. We got who's winning that, or does anybody give a shit? Who's winning that? Who's winning the Central? It's like, who cares? No, I'm just playing.
Who's that? The Twins?
The Twins aren't going anywhere.
Indians.
Cleveland wins it.
Cleveland will be there. Cleveland will be going for it. They have a good team. They've been strong the last couple of years. Who else?
Well, it's what? Well, the White Sox. White Sox blow. Royals. Royals could surprise, and then you got Cleveland, Detroit, Minnesota.
Yeah, I'm going. Detroit won it last year, or they do that. They have that choke job.
Detroit had the choke job.
Yeah, they were like 17 games up in the division or something crazy.
Yeah,
but ironically, then they beat Cleveland in the playoffs.
Yeah.
You know?
Detroit will probably win again, and it also depends whether they trade Scooble before the what do you call it? Deadline. Thank you, John.
I'll tell you. Now that's one thing. If the Dodgers get Scooble, I'm just turning the TV off.
You know what?
It's ridiculous. I think Diego said it. It's like, when is it okay? You're building a powerhouse, but enough's enough.
Right.
If you're as old as me, you remember when, what do you call it? Steinbrenner used to go out and buy the freaking Yankees, and literally, any big name player was out, he bought them, and they won a couple. Obviously they won some championships. They were always in the playoffs. They didn't win as many as you thought. That's why he went through so many damn managers. But yeah, you can't go back to that because that ruined baseball. Everyone's baseball for every other city because you just think, what the hell's the difference? I don't really feel like watching it. Or the player that you love to watch. And that's one thing I always hated about free agency. The one player you want to see and you love and you get their jersey and you follow them, the next year they're traded.
Yeah.
Excuse me, they go free agency and you don't see them anymore. It's really tough to have that one player who stays with the team the whole time.
Oh, yeah, I forgot about this. Yeah, Ken Fry says Kramer and Newman blamed Keith Hernandez. Keith told them it was McDowell. And then Dave Arnold says the AL Central's my favorite. So a little backstory. Me and Dave a couple years ago on the Out of the Box, we did a weekly baseball show. And this was now the AL Central is good now, but at the time the whole division sucked. So every time I would go down the standings, I would be like, "Oh, should we do the AL Central?" And I'd be like, "Well, what's the fucking point? They all blow. They're like the tallest midget in the circus." You know what I mean? But now it's actually a pretty decent division.
Yeah.
Mike Patrick Jr. says, "I remember Steinbrenner signing Reggie Jackson." Yeah, they were exciting times. So, all right. How about AL West?
Seattle.
Yeah, I think Seattle's pretty strong.
The Mariners.
Yeah, I'm going Mariners too. All right, so we got what? All right, and then wild cards. Do we have? Well, I know Jeff likes Toronto, but like if we base it on the Yankees winning the East, which most of us have, we have Toronto and Boston being a wild card. Who's the third wild card?
Royals.
Okay, that's interesting. All right. Now who's coming out of the AL?
Toronto. That's me.
Oh, that's right. You said that. I'm sorry. Yeah.
Okay.
Is it Phillies Toronto or is it a 93 rematch or
I said
last year?
We had a chance to beat the Dodgers. We really did.
Well, I know, but gun to your head, who you like? I mean, which one? Like, who you going with?
Phillies. I have to.
All right, so it's a rematch of 93, and who's winning? Are we partying down Broad Street, or are we having flashbacks?
I think you're going to see on the back of the Daily News finally, and you're going to have Harper holding that up on the float.
I'm with you. I think we're winning, but I think it's. I actually think it's. I see a Philly Seattle World Series, and I see us winning. I see the Phillies beating Seattle. Diego, what you got?
Going Yankees, Dodgers.
All right, and
the old days,
who's winning?
The Dodgers are going to win.
Tell you what, selfishly, Yankees Dodgers would be pretty good for me considering I got Yankees tickets but playoffs. So I mean, I can make some coin on that. But so I mean, I'd rather see Yankees Phillies. But okay. And then Sean, who you got?
Phillies, Seattle. I'll go with you on that.
Okay. And are we winning?
Yeah.
All right. Well, hey, I'll tell you what. Well, that would be a hell of a year if we see Harper holding up that trophy, man.
Will be.
Yeah, that'd be a hell of a year. So, all right. All right. So that's.
What do you think about Dalton signing with the Eagles?
Wait, what's this?
What do you think about Andy Dalton signing with the Eagles? You think that makes what's his face is out of here?
McKay?
McKay.
Not necessarily, but I think it's definitely a possibility because I could see the Eagles drafting a quarterback in the middle rounds, and you're not going to carry 4 quarterbacks. Kind of depends on what you could get from McKay. I mean, there was a report that the Eagles were asking for a 2, and the Jets balked, so they went out and got Geno Smith. But I mean, here's what I could see. I could see a scenario where like the Eagles trade like McKee and say like a 4th maybe to like a team like maybe like McKee a 4th and maybe a late pick to like a team like Arizona for maybe their 2. You know what I mean? Maybe something like that. If a team like Arizona likes McKee, Yep.
Now I can see McKee going with a draft pick or 2. I think that's what they're setting up if they're going to draft a quarterback.
Yeah, Mike Papernick says the Jets inquired about McKee, but the price was too high. Maurice Wright says McKee is better than Geno. Yeah, I mean, well,
there's still could be something there. They've got
Yeah, but you got to remember. Yeah, but it's also they got Geno in a 6th round swap for a 7th rounder or something like that. Whereas McKee, they would have had to give up a 2nd round pick. You know what I mean? So you got to look at that part of the trade too. Like if you're the Jets, because the Jets are probably positioned themselves up for quarterback in 2027, right? So if you're the Jets,
they're heavy. Yeah,
you're gonna say to yourself, and the Jets have a ton of picks, so they could even draft a kid. They could even draft like a Carson Beck this year and take a chance on him, or like a Drew Aller in like the middle rounds. And if he doesn't pan out, they don't really give a shit because they got like 10 picks. You know what I'm saying? But like, so if you're the Jets, you're saying like, well, shit, I don't want to give up a 2nd rounder for McKee. I'd rather bring a Geno Smith in, and then have him kind of be like a bridge guy to the young guy.
True.
My curiosity is we've signed like 300 tight ends. Yet they're probably going to draft, if he's still there, the tight end from, what is it, Notre Dame or?
No, Kenyon Sadiq, Oregon.
What's that guy's name?
Oregon, Kenyon Sadiq.
Sadiq, thank you. Like almost every single thing you see on TV and on Facebook has every analyst saying that, the Eagles are going to take the tight end. I know we signed for 1 year, what's his face back, Goddard. But why do we have like 6 other tight ends? First of all, Calcaterra, whatever.
Well, Joey brought up a good point with the contract that he signed, and once training camp starts, he might not even make the team.
Goddard or Calcaterra?
Calcaterra. Yeah. Most of Calcaterra's money is like not really guaranteed. I think he only has like a few $100,000 guaranteed. So I think that was something where that could have been a situation where teams really weren't showing Calcaterra any interest, and the team probably likes him, and they're like, well, yeah, we'll bring you in the training camp, and if we don't draft the tight end and you show out, because like this offense, the Mannion offense, like they like to use a lot of 2 tight ends.
Two tight ends set.
Right. If Alcantara shows something as a pass catcher in this offense, then they might be like, well, yeah, you know what? We're going to keep him another year at a cheap price, you know?
What about who's the other guy we got? Ment, is that his name?
Munt.
Munt?
Yeah,
Munt, and then
yeah, he's like a blocker.
I know he's a good blocker, but can he catch though? I mean, can he?
yeah, he can catch.
Okay. Because,
And then you got the dude from the Jets.
Tell you what, I looked up a lot of mock drafts of the Eagles
Yeah.
yesterday, and so like 80% of them have him taking the dude out of Arizona State, the guard, or like Lane Johnson's replacement.
The Nigerian kid, yeah.
Yeah, for Lane Johnson's replacement. Like they said he could play guard right away, or whatever, guard right away, and then take over for Lane Johnson in a year or two, and Lane retires.
Well, the thing that I sent you guys, I think I want a guy that hasn't let their quarterback get sacked is Iona from Penn State. You know.
Yeah, he's a good. Well, he's a guard. You know what though? I think dude. I know he's a guard, and guards don't usually go that high, but I think he's going top 15, bro. The kid from Penn State, he's going because I think people think not like. You know, like I said, like a lot of people don't love taking guards, but he's like one of the highest rated guards to come out since like Nelson from the Colts. You know what I mean? So I think he's going high.
Well, not only that, just like what's the name said, Maurice, Claire, Jolly, and Roush from Stanford, the tight ends. I mean, it all depends who's there, but 23, I'm going O-line. If it were the best player available.
Yeah. You know what? Do you know what? Here's one too. The safety, the safety from one of the safeties, like the safety from
the one that I sent you,
or the
Oregon?
Kid who?
From Oregon, Thielen and Quignon's boy from Toledo.
Yeah, but then again, you know what? Here's one too. I wouldn't be shocked if they went edge rusher again. They love edge rushers, and the thing is,
too many good ones.
Yeah, right. But here's the thing, right? So the draft is somewhat deep in O-line, right? It's so you possibly could get a decent offensive lineman second, third round to develop. The draft is deep in tight end and it's deep in safety. So if you're sitting there at 23, say you're sitting there at 23, or maybe you even move up a few spots, and you're sitting there and you're like, shit, I really like this safety. I really like this lineman. I really like this tight end. But you know, this fucking kid at edge, he's the best athlete. He's the best athlete sitting here. I could still get a good safety in the third round. I could still get a tight end in the third round. I'm taking this edge here. You know what I mean?
I don't know if you guys watch Good Morning Football. I was watching it this morning, and they had Rodney McLeod was one of the things for the whole show. All the regulars were off today, and they were talking about different teams, and they came up to the Eagles. He said Howie hasn't even stirred the pot yet. He said everybody's talking about the Eagles really not doing a ton of stuff and all this, and you know, some of the teams that have been out there and made some big splashes. He said by the time the draft is over, he said, and guys get cut, everybody's going to say, how the hell did the league fall into his trap again? He just said when he came to the Eagles, he didn't know what to expect, and he said he just watched from the outside as a player playing on the team the magic that he does. He says he must have some kind of pixie dust that he sprinkles over these players because they're like in the twilight and they just do things that are unimaginable and they work.
Yeah. Well, you know. The right at this particular moment, the Eagles have, like, how we reworked the cap. The Eagles right now have the sixth most cap space, I think, in all NFL. The Eagles have like $30-some million in cap space.
I remember they were down to 9. What, a week ago, 2 weeks ago?
Yeah. Here's a thought. You know, Howie could pull a move that we're not even thinking of. Well, first off, they could still trade for that guy Greenard or Greenward from Minnesota. And what if there's a move out there we're not even thinking of? Like maybe Howie trades a mid-round pick for like a Buda Baker and brings a safety with experience in, you know, because Arizona stinks.
You know what I mean? Like maybe Do you ever think that maybe they use the media and put out bullshit out there to take away from really what's happening behind the scenes?
Of course
Pretty
they
much.
use
Yeah, oh,
that.
absolutely.
Yeah.
Teams use the fucking media all the time. Like,
Yeah.
Maurice Wright says O-line before defensive line. I agree with Maurice, but I mean, I'm only saying it because it seems like Howie always likes to get those edges early. You know what I mean? I could see some, that's the only reason I said that. But Mike Papper Jr. says South Carolina has a good safety named Kilgore that has the Eagles in the 3rd round, taking him in some mocks, as the Eagles have 2 third-round picks. Yeah, I could see that. I mean, there's a couple highly rated safeties, but if there are good safeties in like 3rd round, I could see that being a spot they go safety.
Watching the draft, though, all these years, I mean, obviously football's the most fun to watch, but really it's the only one you get to see on TV anymore. But like the first 2 or 3 picks for most of the time are like the locks. After that, it's a crapshoot with everybody. Because you have teams like, oh, they're definitely getting this. This is what they need. This is the one player they have to have. And then they go off the board and get something like, and people are like, what the hell are they thinking? So you never know, like you say, where they're going. You never know. The Eagles can move up to number 1 for all you know. They can trade. And A.J. Brown might be in a trade, and then all of a sudden the Eagles are picking number 2. You never know. You just don't know.
I mean, the one thing about these drafts, like you said, like, I always find it fascinating because, the better teams, if you look, always draft well in day 3. Like like every, like you were saying, like, the rounds 1 through 3, yeah, they're the sexy picks, right? Like 1st round's the sexy pick. Friday night when you're watching 2nd and 3rd, they're sexy picks. If you look around the league, though, a lot of these teams make their bones on Saturday. You take chances on guys like 4th, 5th round. They're like your developmental guys that you put in. Like, who always was good at that back in the day was the Steelers. Like back in the day, the Steelers would always like pick some like receiver or linebacker you never heard of. Like you'd be like, I don't even know who that fucking guy is. Mm-hmm. And then he'd be sitting behind a guy. They'd lose him in free agency, and then the Steelers would plug the guy in they developed, and he'd be really good.
Mm-hmm.
Happened all the fucking time.
And a lot of running backs. A lot of running backs like that.
Yeah, that's why the Steelers were so good for so long. And now they haven't won a playoff game in 10 years, But back in the day, back when when they had Roethlisberger, and because I remember, I think Antonio Brown wasn't a high draft pick. They had the kid Mike Wallace. He was like a middle round pick. Like the Steelers always took guys in like the middle of the rounds that developed.
I would love to have Justin Jefferson, but I don't think he'll ever leave there unless you give like right now 2 number 1 picks at Jefferson right now. He didn't have a quarterback last year. I mean, you can only do so much without a quarterback.
Yeah, I don't think we have the money. I mean, at least not for a receiver. I mean, because you're already paying Brown. You know what I mean? Like if you like say you trade Brown, even if it's post June 1st, I think you're still taking a $20 million cap hit. Then you got to take another big cap hit next year. So you're not gonna like pay Devontae, take the cap hit, and pay Jefferson. That's so much money in one position, Maurice Wright says, I think it's a lot of good offensive linemen in the 1st round. The Eagles will be stupid not to grab best one available. This draft is big. I'm with you. I wouldn't mind taking 2 linemen. I wouldn't mind getting a young developmental tackle in like round 1, and then get like an interior O lineman in round like say 2 through 4, because the draft is really deep in like centers and guards, and Dickerson may only have 1 to 2 years left. And then Steen's just a guy. So, I mean, I wouldn't mind taking a couple guys, honestly.
We were talking about like maybe re-signing Epps. They did re-sign Epps. They did like we did last year. So that was, a good signing. He knows he's pretty much done his career. So why not, stick another year out for the Eagles, a chance to win.
Yeah. So, but yeah, it'll be interesting though.
I want to throw something out there, and then you can go into your injury.
Yes.
Horrible news. I don't know. I know you guys are into hockey, but not as much as I am. the Wild, their one reporter died in a fire with her, was it 3 children and the dog, all burned up in a fire.
I saw that. Yeah, that's terrible.
There's a woman, right?
A woman, yeah, really, really well respected around the league, but she works for the Wild. But yeah, the kids and the dog, the whole family perished in this fire. It's horrible.
Yeah, I saw it. Sad.
That's horrible. That's horrible. And yeah, one last thing was, and speaking of hockey, shout out to the Flyers. I mean, great road trip. They got a big game. Who do they play tomorrow night? Columbus. That's a huge game. It's almost like a must-win game. So they gotta do that. And then Sixers play the world champion Thunder tonight. I think we touched on that earlier. McCain's coming back.
Yeah, scheduled loss tonight.
I hope McCain scores like 38 points on us, just to shove it in their face.
Fuck him.
Yeah, so
at this point,
we should not have gotten rid of him.
We need these points.
We should not have gotten rid of him. That was a bad move.
It was the worst move. It was the stupidest thing.
Yeah, because that first round pick we're going to get is like 24, 25, something like that. And you know, a lot of people are like, oh, well, this draft's going to be so deep, you know, that's equivalent to like the 10th. But I was arguing with some guy last week on the X, which I don't usually do, but he's like, oh, that pick's nothing. And I'm like, yeah, dude. I'm like, who think about it. Everybody says the draft is so deep, right? But that might not be the case, because if I have the chance to stay in college and get paid NIL, or I could be the 25th pick, I might stay in college another year and then be a top 10 pick the following fucking year.
Right.
You know what I mean? Like everybody always says that shit, but that doesn't mean, like, you know what I'm saying? Like, think about it, right? If I'm an NBA player, if I'm killing it in college and my agent goes, yo, dude, you're going to be picked like, you know, you might only go, you know, 22 to 30 or maybe even second round, but next year's draft isn't as deep. If you show out, you could be like top 12, 13. Well, I'm going to play one more year in college and go.
Right.
Didn't somebody just do that last year? They didn't come out because NIL was paying more than he was going to get in the draft.
Yeah, that happened to the kid from the quarterback from Oregon.
I was trying to think who it was. Yeah, I knew there was somebody out there that it happened.
The quarterback from Oregon stayed in school.
Pay more.
He's getting paid. He's getting paid a ton of coin and NIL, and then some people are speculating he didn't want to go to the Jets too. You know what I mean?
So
he still might go to the fucking Jets.
Yeah, right. Yeah, but he's going to go to the Jets with money already, so that's okay.
Yeah. I'm sorry. Hate to break it to you, dude. Jets are usually picking in the bottom three every fucking year.
What do you call it? I don't think Fernando wants to go to the Raiders, but he's going.
This guy's like, I hope I don't get drafted by the Jets. I'm going to stay another year. Well, Jets might be picking top 3 for the next 10 years, man. So you better hold on.
Yeah, Maurice Wright says if he worked out at the combine, he's trying to get drafted. Now, no, I mean, I hear you. I can't argue that, but there have been stories of guys. And I said agent. I mean, as long as you don't hire an agent, I think it is. You can go back to school. Like, there's loopholes. Like, I don't know. I just don't trust. Sometimes, you know, these motherfuckers that always say, like, deepest draft ever. Like, how many times have you heard? How many times throughout the years have you heard, like, oh, you know, we don't want a quarterback this year. Next year's the quarterback.
Yeah,
and then the next year comes, and you're like, well, who the fuck's coming out?
Yeah,
and you don't even know. You know what I mean?
Here's my big thing, and you tell me if I'm wrong or if you feel the same way. I thought about this around the Kurt Warner time when he came in. You know, I know he was a quarterback and this and that, but he was not going to make it in the league. You know, he ended up working whatever at the supermarket. But how many players do not get drafted, do not get that extra sign-on or walk-on that could play in the National Football League, and players that are in the league out the air? There's so many people out there that could probably play and play well and have the heart to play. They just don't see, or they don't have a good agent who could push video in front of somebody or whatever. Think about that. You know?
Well, that's a great point, because if Trent Green doesn't get hurt in preseason, we may never even have heard of Kurt Warner. And And then same thing. You
Wasn't
know,
Blankenship a walk on?
Who?
Wasn't Reed Blankenship for us a walk on?
Yeah, he was undrafted free agent. But
Undrafted,
look at Tom Brady. I mean, the Patriots were paying Drew Bledsoe millions and millions of dollars. He runs over the sideline, breaks his ribs. Tom Brady comes in. He's the greatest quarterback ever.
How about Tony Romo? Didn't Tony Romo come in on an injury?
So they benched Bledsoe, but to your point though, Romo was an undrafted free agent from Eastern Illinois, and that's why like the draft is such a the draft is in some ways a crapshoot, and I know Romo played for Dallas, and of course as Eagles fans like we love to shit on him and all, but to be honest with you, Romo is a hell of a story. I mean, if you think about it, the fucking guy played college football at Eastern Illinois, and he became a fucking star quarterback for the Dallas Cowboys. So you could say what you want about Romo. He didn't win the big one. He wasn't necessarily great in the playoffs, but he had a great fucking career.
Yeah, Romo had game too. He could play.
And he wasn't great in women either because he dumped Carrie Underwood.
Dummy.
Was he with Under? I thought he was with Jessica Simpson.
He was with Carrie Underwood.
Okay. Why? I mean, I knew he was with Simpson too. I think. Well, he was probably with all. I mean, shit. If you're quarterback of the Cowboys, you're probably with all. I mean, you could probably be with any blonde in Texas if you wanted to. You know what I mean? Like, which one of you chicks sing country music and have a nice body? All right, I'm Tony Romo. What's up? I mean, pretty much.
You're saying that. I was watching an interview last night on TV. Sammy Hagar. It was a great interview, and they were talking when he was in Van Halen. They used to have behind the stage. They used to have these exercise rooms that were like porta pots, but they were made with shades. So when they used to go like they used to nod their head, and Eddie would go off on like a 20-minute guitar riff. They used to go back and basically have women back there, get some things done, then come back on stage. And each one of them used to go back, drum solo, they'd be back there. He was talking about, he was promoting his book because he told
what a life. Yeah, what a life.
Everything straight out. Yeah, he tells everything straight out. He said he let his wife read it first before he let it go, before he let that book go. And she's like, if Eddie wasn't dead, he would take that guitar and wrap it around your fucking neck. Because he let it all go on what happened.
Oh yeah. All right, got one more. No, it's interesting. I love that stuff. One more comment here, and then we'll blow out of here. It's Maurice Wright says, "Do you think the Eagles have Hurts on their franchise list for the next couple years? When do you all think the Eagles pull the plug and get a young guns?" I think they might even draft a guy in like the 4th round this year.
I think the Eagles want Jalen Hurts to be their franchise quarterback, but I don't think Callie Roseman and Jeffrey Lurie have any problem being like, all right, you know what? He's not the guy, and next year they'll draft a guy.
Here's my question. How long is, what's his face, Mannion? How long is he signed for? Is he just a 1-year deal?
No.
How long, who?
Sean Mannion.
Oh, I don't know. I'm not sure, honestly. I mean, I don't know. I don't know how long they sign. I mean, I would assume they sign these coordinators for a few-year deal, but knowing if the Eagles, like, say, make a Super Bowl run, that Sean Mannion's probably going to be a head coach somewhere, or at least.
Because if this works out, because I mean, again, you don't know whether it's a bunch of bullshit and they hate it, but they seem to be really liking this.
Here's the problem: if the Eagles have a good year again,
and it's
Mannion's
excitement.
gone. Another offensive coordinator,
and it goes a lot more towards the way Hurts plays. And that might be a thing there where he actually has a coordinator for 2 years straight.
Hello?
Maybe he does straighten his ass out, and then they do something there. Because if this doesn't work out this year, there's all kinds of shit that Hurts does again. He's going to be out of here. I understand 4 or 5 different offensive coordinators or whatever like that, but if it's not working.
All right, one more thing. Maurice Wright says, "Is Mannion Nick's replacement?"
That's a good question.
No, I mean he could be, but I don't. I think they like Nick, dude. I really do, and I think that Mannion, that'll be an interesting decision though if it comes down. If just say hypothetically this offense really kicks ass, and they either could lose Mannion, or But the problem is, though, if like say the Eagles make a Super Bowl run, like how do you justify firing the head coach? That'd be three fucking Super Bowls he's in.
The same way they do it in other sports. They've done it in sports. They've done it in baseball. They do it in hockey.
Yeah, I know, but I'm saying if they make another run this year, like say even if they don't win the Super Bowl, say they get to like the championship game or they get to the Super Bowl, how can you justify firing Nick Sirianni?
Oh, I don't think they would. I think there's probably like a limit on where he goes. You know, if let's say they don't make the playoffs, he's done. If they make the playoffs and they make it to the championship game, he's fine. You know, they'll Howie and them will sit down and say, "This is what we expect."
Yeah. All right. Well, one last thing.
Sean, when you said he signed a 2-year contract, though, suppose he does well and this offense does click and it's all good. Suppose somebody wants him as a head coach next year. Because it's a job up, can he still go, or is he still locked into that 2-year?
I think he can still go.
As long as it's a job above what he's doing?
Yeah.
I was always curious on how that worked. Like, why there's so many line duns.
I'll look into it more.
Please do. Get back to my people.
Hey, by the way, the Eagles are actually hosting the I just looked. The Eagles are hosting the Penn State offensive guard on a top 30 visit today.
Yeah.
They saw a lot of people this year, didn't they? They supposedly interviewed a lot of people this year.
Yeah, they got Clint Hurd at Miami's pro day today. Yeah, so
it's good to see that they're going deep, not just specific guys, and that's it. They're going pretty deep with a lot of players. So maybe
Well, it also makes sense too because it helps you in free agency. Because if you look, a lot of the guys the Eagles bring in as free agents, if you look, the reporters will be like, oh, they had him in for a top 30 visit at his draft. You know what I mean? So, which makes sense because get as much information on these people as possible. Like, for instance, the edge rusher they signed from Atlanta, the Eagles had him in for a top 30 visit at his draft in 2022. So it gives you background information. Like they might have remembered him and been like, oh, you know what? I like that kid's attitude. And he's a free agent. Let's bring him in,
They were talking, when I say they, again, it's just, it's things that you read online. What do you call it? One of the football shows, The Insiders. It's on before, what do you call it? Good Morning Football. They were talking about Hassan Reddick possibly coming back. He said, would you bring him back? Year now?
You know what? I think it's more an attitude thing because I think in 2023 when there was rumblings coming out about guys being selfish on the defense, I think it was one of those where everybody was kind of like not saying it, but everybody was kind of like, and it's him, you know what I'm saying? Like, so one last thing before we roll out. You want to make who's winning the NCAA tournament? Do any of you guys care or like?
I don't care, but probably Duke. My son's got money on Duke. Yeah.
I could see that. How about you, Sean? Who's winning?
Arizona.
Okay. Yeah, I don't really want to say either. I'm going to say like a team. I'm going to say Connecticut just to be different. I have no idea though, to be honest. This is like I know less about college basketball, I think, than I've ever known in my life. So
me too.
Well, the guy that hit the game-winning shot for St. John's is James Darlin's son.
I saw that. Yeah, about that.
Yeah, James. What's his face was in town? Murray. What's his face? Not Eddie Murray. Christ. The comedian Bill Murray. Bill Murray's son plays.
Oh.
He was in town all week for the games.
All right.
They say he's a real asshole though. He's got Him and Chevy Chase. Chevy Chase. I don't know if you know. Chevy Chase is like richest billionaire. He's
I didn't know that.
They fired him from a bunch of different shows. I don't watch the show, but Jonathan said he was actually sucked in The Office, which he loves that show. He said he got fired because he couldn't stand. Nobody could stand him on the set. And they say a lot of shows that he's been in and made some spots. They were thinking about putting him into a show regular. They said he's a real asshole. He's real cocky, but he's loaded. His family's loaded, and he just doesn't care.
What's up, Chase?
Sorry, just a little tidbit. I just
No,
happened to
no,
see it 'cause he
no,
showed
I-
up on the news today that he was down, all week he was down there, and they asked him how it was, and he says he loved Philadelphia. They treated him well, and he loved the games. He said, "This is what it's about."
Yeah, no, I've heard Chevy Chase was supposedly a real dick. That's like one of the big rumors. So,
Yeah.
but all right, well, listen, go Flyers, go Sixers, go Phillies,
Yes, sir.
and
No Phillies.
and go whoever's playing a tournament bracket, go your picks, and we'll see you all next week. Have a good one, everybody.
Game on, getting strong, let's break the mold. Chasing the stories yet unfold. Passion ignites like a blazing fire. Knowledge takes us higher, higher. Out of the box where the wild ones play. We see the game in a whole new way. Living loud, hearts in motion. Sports with soul, pure devotion. The field's alive.